Right, some bad news on the development front. One of the parts failed quality control. We know how to fix it, but it'll take some extra resource. It's on hold for now, but you can order the extra work from the laptop at any time.
What's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my F1 2017 career mode. And first things first, if you did miss the last episode at USA, I highly urge you to check it out guys. There was a big twist in the title race, and Raikkonen and myself got in a bit of a kerfuffle, and I urge you to watch it before you come back to this video. So click the card in the top right hand corner of the screen and do check out that episode if you did miss it. But we're here from Mexico and the third from last round of the season basically, and we're getting towards the more important part of the season now. Really, it's sort of flown by, to be honest, and we're pretty much at the end of the season, which is pretty mental to say, but it's been a fun season and it's sort of coming to an end, but hopefully we can make it a good one, and who knows, maybe become a two-time world champion if all goes well. So I'm sort of crossing my fingers, hoping for the best in that regard. But as you can see, I'm currently in Friday practice, going through the practice programs, and they've done a pretty good job of it, using the power unit number 3 for the final time, just trying to eke out as much performance as possible, and then eventually for qualifying and race, we will switch over to the final power unit number 4, and hopefully have a little bit more performance in there. But if you do notice my commentary is a bit off in this video, it's because I'm trying to power through it. I'm a bit ill at the moment, but I want to just get this season done. So you know, I do like take a few pauses or whatever, then you know why. But I've got a bit of a sore throat and whatnot. But after Friday practice, you can see we actually got a new rival in the form of Sebastian Vettel after we lost our rivalry to Kimi Raikkonen. And then shortly after that, as I mentioned, we would switch over our power unit to power unit 4. And we're going to run this now for the rest of the weekend to hopefully find a little bit more performance in the engine department. And hopefully that will give us a couple of extra tenths of a second in the overall lap time, especially when it comes to the ultimate crunch lap in qualifying. So speaking of such, jumping into Saturday now for Q1 and opting for the softest ultra soft tyres in the first part of Q1, using rich mix instead of max to try and save the engine a little bit, and we comfortably set a good enough lap time to go P4, and eventually once the session would end we would actually finish, I believe, in P8. So comfortably through into the second part of qualifying there. A few guys on the super softs, including Kimi Raikkonen, which is rather interesting. And speaking of super softs, we are going to go for those tyres in Q2, and straight away trying to set a more competitive lap time in Q2 with these tyres, pushing a little bit more than I was in Q1, and making sure that I could get through into Q3 on these tyres. And I was sceptical because the pace didn't convince me. I've got to say, the car didn't feel great, and I was a little bit just mystified because in practice the car felt really good. So I felt like I'd lost a bit of pace, and the AI sort of found some pace from Friday to Saturday. So luckily I managed to get through to Q3 once again in 7th place there by the skin of my teeth. But going to Q3 I was a little bit concerned that I might not have the pace to really compete, and we're going to come towards the end of my first lap, which I pretty much nailed. It was an almost perfect lap, and we're actually going to go 3rd place behind, you guessed it, the 2 Ferraris. So at that point I was like, you know what, I think I've done the best I can. And I went out for one more attempt to see what I could do, and I did actually manage to go faster. So we're going to run the board now and see what my best lap of qualifying was. Can we topple the Ferraris, or will the Ferraris actually improve their own lap time? We'll have to wait and find out. But into turn 1, you want to brake bang on the 50-meter board on the right hand side down to 4th gear, and then use 3rd for turn 2 for a little bit more extra turning, and then at short shift for 4th on the exit of turn 3. Then open up the DRS, basically just propel your car down the back straight, and then brake bang on the 100-meter board here for turn number 4 down to 3rd gear, purple first sector here, so fastest of everybody so far as we now go through turn 5. Very important you get a little bit of traction in this section here, because these are all very important short squirts on the throttle that if you get bad traction it's going to cost you a lot of lap time and you're going to overheat your tyres. But now going into the sort of swooping section here, similar to Kota and Silverstone, and we get an absolutely flawless, perfect line, keeping it within the track limits through there, and we're currently up on our lap time, and we're up in the 2nd sector here. So one more sector to go, and it's the one that I lose the most time in. So we've got to really push the limits of the track here as we go into the baseball stadium, really pushing the limits of the track, just about keeping 2 tyres within the track limits. One more corner to go, the final corner. Very, very important you get good traction out here. Keep it to the right hand side for the shortest run to the line, and we go across the line. The question is, did we go fastest? Yes, we did, and a second pole position in a row after the USA Grand Prix in the last race. So what an incredible lap, and that, just like Kota, that was one of the best laps I've ever put in. Like, in the last 2 races, the last 2 qualifying sessions, the laps have been absolutely phenomenal. Like, look at that, I'm over a second faster than my teammate. I really outperformed the car on that lap, and I was very, very happy. I didn't think I'd be able to beat the Ferraris, and I improved my previous best by almost half a second, so a really, really impressive lap time there, and that's going to grab us pole for the Mexican Grand Prix. So overall, that was Saturday. We're now going to move into Sunday for round 18 for the Mexican Grand Prix for the race. Right, here we are then on the grid for the Mexican Grand Prix, and we've got first place and top of the pile after an incredible qualifying lap yesterday in qualifying. Just like in the Circuit of the Americas, managing to hook up a very, very good lap, and one that I was very happy with. That's going to get us bagged this pole position. So definitely under pressure. I mean, we was over a second faster than Lewis Hamilton, so under pressure when it really, really counts. We're definitely pulling the laps out the bag at the moment in qualifying in the last couple of races, and I'm hoping to try and have a good race, just like in the last one. Obviously, it was going okay up until the very last lap when Raikkonen did what he did. So hopefully we can have a good race here today, and the main thing is that Raikkonen doesn't beat us, because obviously Raikkonen is 18 points behind, so if he finishes first and I finish second, the gap's going to be down to 11 points, and so on and so on. So basically the strategy today is simple: beat Kimi Raikkonen. In terms of the race strategy though, you can see on screen right now, 2-start race with the soft tyres being used, and we're going to sort of run those in the middle stint of the race, go a little bit longer on those, and then back onto the super softs at the end. But I might change it on the fly depending on how my tyre life goes. So it's going to be an interesting race, and we're going to wait to see how it all pans out. But without further ado, let's jump straight into the race now for round number 18 for the Mexican Grand Prix. Right then, here we go. This is going to be a very long run into the first corner, so it's critical we get a good launch, and it's 5 red lights, and away we go for Mexico. And I've actually stalled off the line a little bit of a lack of power, so we're going to dip into the rich mix to try and pull away and try and defend ourselves in a straight line. We're going side by side with Sebastian Vettel here into the first corner. He's also on the super soft tyres, and we're going to go around the outside of the German here. Raikkonen also looking for a move around my outside into turn 1, but we are going to make the overtake and retake first place, and we're going to lead the way on the super softs. But Vettel still very close behind me for company here, but I'm actually starting to pull away slightly in the straight line as we now go into the second sector. So right now, a good start to the race, defending my lead nicely. Vettel's trying to go on my outside there as I'm running a bit deep to the left-hander, but I'm going to have to better line into this next corner. I'm just going to try and squeeze him out, and there we go. Right, we've held on to the lead, so now it's very important that we try to set some good pace and try and use the fact that Vettel is on super softs behind me. I can use him as almost a bit of a shield, so I need to try and pull away, set some good laps, and dictate the pace of the race. Kimi has got past Sebastian already here, so Raikkonen will be approaching me very soon. Right, here comes Kimi Raikkonen. DRS is enabled now, but obviously Raikkonen won't be using it just yet. He's going to try and go for a move. I'm just going to sort of cover the inside slightly into turn 1, and there we go. Just put our car nicely in the middle of the track and not allowing Raikkonen to make a move, but he's already looking for the overtake. Next up though, once DRS is available, he's going to be pretty damn quick, so we have to be prepared for a Raikkonen attack on the next lap. But so far, I think we are going to survive at least this lap. Okay, so Kimi Raikkonen is going to have DRS now this lap, and this is going to be a pretty simple overtake for him. I'm not going to bother wasting rich mix because he's on a different strategy, and also he's got DRS. I'm going to squeeze him though. I'm not going to make this move easy for him, so he's going to have to work for it. So we're going to go to the outside. The time Raikkonen locks up, so I've got to take a second stab of the wheel into the corner, turning in, and then Raikkonen runs in a little bit deep on the entry of turn 3. I'm going to switch back underneath him there and just get in front. He's got DRS again though, so he's going to try and go for the move. I'm just going to try and get to the brake zone first, and there we go. We've stayed ahead for another lap here, and very tactically defending and parking my car. So we've stayed ahead of Raikkonen, but this is going to be the first of many exchanges, I think. Okay, I feel like Raikkonen's ultra softs are just starting to fade away a little bit now, and I'm setting some good lap times still on these supers, but he's not getting the exit speeds and traction that he would like to make a move on me, and also my straight line speed is pretty good anyway, so he's got to be right in the back of me to have any chance of making a move, and right now he's struggling to do that. I'm just starting to not shake him off, but definitely distance myself from him. So this is looking good at the minute, and we're controlling the race on these super softs. Very similar to the first stint at USA, where these tyres worked very nicely for me, so we've got to use them whilst we have them on the car. Okay, Raikkonen comes into the pit lane, and I'm still only a tenth away from my personal best, so I've been very consistent on this tyre, and I'm really liking this tyre. My tyre is starting to pick up a little bit now, but I'm still setting good lap times, so until I feel my tyres starting to wear away, I'm going to keep going. Well, I'm going to come in for my first stop of the race. My tyres feel okay, but I'm going to play it safe. I'm not going to risk hitting the cliff. So we're just going to come in for the soft compound tyres and also respond to Raikkonen's pit stop, because I think I might be able to stay ahead of him if everything goes well. So here we go into the pit lane, 2.6. Not too shabby. We're going to just about rejoin behind that full cylinder there and not get held up pretty much. I might have been held up like half a tenth, but we're back on our way now. And a 2.6 pit stop. Ocon's going to go by. I think that's actually Ricciardo. But here we go. We're going to get up to speed. And I think we might still be ahead of Raikkonen. Yes, we are. We're actually comfortably ahead of Raikkonen. So the question is, can we stay ahead of Lance Stroll? I think we will do. So there we go. Lovely stuff. Really, really good. Just extra lap staying out there. And Raikkonen's a couple of places behind. So we're still in the net race lead here. And now we're on the soft compound tyres. And we're going to go a little bit longer this stint. So let's try and switch this tyre on, unlike in Kota, and try and set some good lap times. Here we go then, through the final corner. We're right behind Ricciardo, but he comes in, as does Carlos Sainz, and also Sebastian Vettel. So there we go, personal best, and we're now back into the race lead. Raikkonen fastest lap 18.0, and he's on super soft, so that's the time we've got to try and match. So let's try and find some pace and try and pick up the pace. This is going to get very interesting as Sebastian Vettel goes fastest. We've got myself on softs, Raikkonen on super softs, and Vettel on ultras, and we're all closing up to one each other. So this is going to make a very interesting middle stint of the race, I think. Right, this is going to get very, very tasty very quickly. Here comes Kimi Raikkonen. I'm going to go to the inside slowly and make my way across. Sebastian Vettel not too far behind. Raikkonen is now out of my slipstream, so he's going to struggle. But so here comes Sebastian Vettel on the outside. There's going to be 3 wide with a couple of Ferraris here, but we are going to stay ahead for now. And Vettel's just gone clean around the outside of Kimi Raikkonen, I think. So there we go, a switch in the Ferrari positions, and now we're going to be under threat by Sebastian Vettel on them ultra soft compound tyres. Right, now Sebastian Vettel's turn to try and make the move here. So same thing again, I'm going to slowly pull to the inside. Vettel's going to commit to the inside line though still, but it's a drag race. I feel like Vettel's got a little bit more straight line speed than his teammate, so he might be in rich mix here. We're going to go for the outside line into turn 1, and we've got plenty of grip on these tyres to hold on, and there we go, we're still in first place, and Vettel has to settle for P2 unless he makes a move into this next corner, which he's got a good run on me, to be fair, and I'm going to defend the inside. Vettel's had a great run, to be fair, almost like he's in rich mix. He's going to go for the outside line here, and he's going to make the move on the inside into the next corner. I'm going to try and switch back underneath, oblivious to the fact Raikkonen was there, did not see him coming, and Raikkonen being very sneaky there, trying to sneak up my inside, and I did not see him coming. So Raikkonen now is going to be the threat. Vettel's made the move, and basically Raikkonen just completely ruined my chance of a switchback maneuver on him. So we're going to have to settle now for second place and defend from Kimi Raikkonen. I think Kimi might have picked up some front wing damage in that incident because of me turning into him, but I guess in many ways that's pretty much an instant karma from what happened in Kota, I guess. So he gets what he deserves. Unfortunately, I didn't get a penalty for it, so it's even Stevens in my book, and he's dropping back. So I've also picked up to rich mix now because I want to try and pull away from Raikkonen, because I don't want him to be a threat in the final stint, and also I think I can still win this race and beat Vettel, but I've got to make the end of the stint pretty strong and have some good pace to end it off. Okay, Sebastian Vettel pits in from those ultra soft tyres, and the question is, what tyres is he going to go on? I'm going to presume it's going to be super softs. So there you go, Vettel onto super softs. He's going to end the race on those tyres. So it's critical now that we push this and also the next lap. Probably just this lap alone, to be honest. I'll probably come in at the end of this lap to try and respond to Vettel's pit stop. So let's have a strong in lap here and come in. Right, here we go. We're going to come into the pit lane for our final stop of the race onto a fresh set of the super soft compound tyres. Get it all slowed down there. Very good pit entry, nice and aggressive. Raikkonen follows me in, so this is going to be very, very interesting, and we're going to see how this one pans out. Esteban Ocon's actually dropped off the pace a bit. He's actually fallen back, so we're going to come in fresh set of super softs. Raikkonen's been held up by Ocon on the pit jack, so that's going to help us out. I think he might have had a front wing change also if it was that badly damaged, but there goes Sebastian Vettel. He's off on his way, so now it's a question of, can we win this race? Can we catch Sebastian Vettel? So let's see how this all pans out. We've got Sergio Perez behind on super softs, but I don't think he'll be a threat to us. So let's focus on what's ahead of us and not what's behind. Oh, is that virtual safety car? So something's happened. I think someone might have had an issue on the track somewhere, but that's going to help us save a little bit of fuel, but no retirement from what I can see, so I don't know what's happened there. But either way, virtual safety car is going to bring a little pulls to the race, help us get these tyres to the end. Vettel's pace is incredible. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch him, to be honest, so it might be a question of settling for what we have. Oh, Vettel's in the pit lane. What? Vettel's in the pits? How's that happen? Okay, so we're in first place now. I wonder if Vettel got some sort of penalty or something. Maybe a drive-through? I don't know, but that's giving us first place in this race. So that's good news for us. The only issue is that's promoted Raikkonen into P3. Sergio Perez has got some incredible pace. He's actually matching me for pace. So Perez really putting a shift here for his home crowd, and he's really coming to this race in the closing stages on a different strategy. But we're pushing on here and trying to make the most of the rich mix and these fresh tyres. So let's try and take this race win. Right, with about 5 laps to go, Sebastian Vettel has re-overtaken Kimi Raikkonen. Raikkonen has got some issues, I think, with his car because I swear he had a front wing change and he's still struggling for pace. So Raikkonen out at sea, only 4th place at best this race, and I'm going to win. So if it finishes like this, I'm going to take a huge step towards the title. But Perez is actually lapping faster than me, so this race won't be over just yet. Right then, into the stadium section one last time here, and it looks like we are going to win the race. My voice is gone, I'm really struggling, and my tyres and also gearbox are pretty damn warm. But we're going to come through the final corner and we're going to win the Mexican Grand Prix. Not to the most satisfying delight to the home fans, as Perez just misses out on his first possible home race win of his career. But you know, you got to do what you got to do, and we needed the race win for the championship, and that is a very good result for us, and very, very important 25 points for the championship compared to Raikkonen's 12. So if my math is correct, after that race, we are 31 points ahead of Raikkonen with 2 races to go. So I could win the championship in the next race. Basically, Raikkonen has to outscore me by 6 points. So translation, Raikkonen has to win the next race, and if I come second, then it's going to go down to the last race in Abu Dhabi. So the task is simple. Kimi never really had the pace this weekend. Vettel out-qualified him, and he was never quick. Like in the entire race, he just struggled to really switch that Ferrari car on all race long. So I'm not really surprised he actually lost that to his teammate. Vettel was the faster Ferrari this weekend, and I'm very impressed with our pace. I thought the car worked absolutely fantastically, and that's why we feel at the top step of the podium next to Sergio Perez there, who did a really good job in that Force India car in my former car. But other than that, that is going to be it for the Mexican Grand Prix, and we're now going to move into the race results, drivers and constructor standings after a very, very interesting round 18 for the season. Right, so looking at the final race results, we win the Mexican Grand Prix after the last race disappointment in Cota. That is a big way to bounce back, and we beat Sergio Perez by 0.3 of a second, and then Sebastian Vettel by 1.6, and he runs up the podium. Kimi Raikkonen only manages 4th place, and actually got a 5-second penalty for his troubles, and then Esteban Ocon finishes in the exact same place where he started. Daniel Ricciardo, incredible recovery drive from P16 on the grid to get 6th place, and then Lewis Hamilton down in P7. Disappointing race for him on a 2-stop strategy there, just didn't have the pace whatsoever today. And then Max Verstappen, Roman Grosjean and Nico Hülkenberg round out the points. But in terms of those who retired this race, only the one retirement in the form of Stoffel Van Dorn. And then in terms of the Drivers' Championship, as you can see, I was correct, 31 points between myself and Kimi Raikkonen, and Sergio Perez into 3rd place now in the Drivers' Championship. What an incredible season he is having after 3 seasons out in Formula 1, and he's even overtaken my teammate Lewis Hamilton, so fair play to him. In terms of the Constructors though, you can see that we are pretty much going to bring this home in Constructors Champions unless myself and Lewis have an absolute calamity in the last 2 races. Force India looking nailed on to bring it home in 3rd place, so overall the Constructors is looking pretty settled. So we're now going to jump into the laptop and purchase the upgrade that fell, that should have arrived for this race, which will hopefully arrive for the next one in Brazil. Right, so not much to see here except for that we are going to purchase the upgrade that failed, so that should arrive for Brazil, and that should give us a little boost and solidify Mercedes as the 2nd best team on the grid. Now the question is, will any of the other 3 big teams bring upgrades to that final race of the season? We'll have to wait and find out, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode of Career Mode, and if you have, then please do smash the like button on this episode. Also subscribe to the channel if you're new around here for future F1 content, and also please be sure to check out these videos on screen right now, and also check out GT Omega and use the code TOM97 for a 5% discount at checkout. Other than that, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.